Uh, Captain, you there? Is it been an hour?
Yeah, I think everything is good. I just reshared the link on the internet, so I think we are good to go. I just had a couple of persons reach out to me that everything is good. So yeah. So okay, I think I might just have to change my ISP when it comes to streaming because current ISP upload speed is very terrible and it keeps breaking. So, but overall, I think we are good to go. So, I was trying to explain rate limiting and how I've seen it in a couple of tests, right? And I was citing the example of a particular application that I was testing, right? And this particular application, I mean, they implemented quite a number. They implemented security um across the application, but then they forgot the password reset function, right? And then in the password reset function, there was no rate limiting enforced for the verification code, right? For the user verification code. And what this meant was I just had to have an account in mind, maybe the user email. Then I request for a password reset, and then I brute force for the 4 digit pin that they had set since there was no um, rate limiting enforced in that particular endpoint. So yeah, it was one interesting engagement, right? And this one I did it with one of my friend, um right. And I mean, like, it was, one of those pen tests, those engagements where in like 10 minutes you just have some critical stuff. I was like,
Yeah,
nice, nice. That's
yeah,
one of those moments where you feel like I actually have a hang. I actually got a hang of this.
exactly. One of those quick wins that you do go after on an engagement.
Yeah, true. So yeah, this is actually very, 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 very correct, right? Because they said really, because a good number of time, right? Even when we are doing tests together, that is myself and you, Habib. Like, I think one place we always are on the lookout for rate limiting are like all these logic functions, right? And even authentication, yeah, in the authentication mechanism as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, so those are places we look out for
Yeah.
vulnerabilities as regard as con
Mo- mo-
okay, carry on.
and I was just gonna add, like, mostly in the login pages, like, there are no sorts of rate limiting mechanism or control in place. Then that gives us, the ability to like brute force for potential, like, username and passwords. If we can acquire some of these from, like, breach data, or just trying to like guess potential usernames and password on the server or within the database.
Yeah, yeah, true. And then a good number of time. One thing I've also noticed is like people most time implement WAF for the web application and then the API. A good number of time there's no firewall protecting it. So if there's no rate limiting, there's no firewall preventing preventing your brute force attack. So everywhere is good.
Exactly. You know, it's smooth sailing from there on. There's no rate limiting or even capture in place. So
Yeah, yeah, true. I mean, in some people, I mean, like for some persons, I mean, even if there's capture, it might just be on the web application, right? Might not let
yeah,
yeah.
on the client side, exactly. We've
Yeah,
come across, yeah.
true. That is also like one thing I've noticed, right, when it comes to testing API. So yeah, like we said, API is just like I said, like high level API is more like what is it called? A web application without user interface. But in as much as we are breaking it down and trying to explain it like this, people also need to understand that most especially the development team, right? They need to understand that they don't just assume that if there is security on the web application, then the security automatically cuts across the API, right? So this is one mistake I noticed also with as concerning from the development team angle, right? Sometimes they implement all the security they are supposed to implement on the web application end, but then the API is just left hanging.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and these are some of the things that we've seen that have been overlooked. Most times the majority of the security controls are like implemented just on the client side, which is like your web browser. And with security tools, certain tools like so proxy tools, you can easily bypass this the if the security control is not enforced on the server side as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Very, very true. So
Yeah,
next page, API documentation. So APIs are usually documented so that developers know how to use and integrate with them. Documentations can be in both human readable and machine readable form. Human readable documentation is designed for developers to understand how to use the API. It may include detailed explanation, examples, and usage scenario. Machine readable documentation is designed to be processed by software for automating tasks like API integration and validation. It's written in structured format like JSON or XML. API documentation is often publicly available, particularly if the API is intended to for use by external developer. If this is the case, always start your recon by reviewing the documentation. Yes, I totally agree with this. Like, it's easy to to say this, right, but I think like it's one of the rookie mistake, right, we make, right. The first
yeah,
thing one wants to do, right, is one thing I've had to learn the hard way, right? So that you don't end up looking stupid during the course of a pen test is you want
yeah,
to properly understand what it is that you're testing, right? And one of the best way, in fact, the easiest way you can understand the API it is that you are testing is by what? Going to the documentation, reading the documentation, and understanding the documentation. So that is if the
yeah,
API has documentation. If there's no documentation, trust me, the test is going to be a lot more stressful, right? Because you have to be
yeah.
piecing
It's kind of more tedious.
together. Yeah. Yeah. So I think
Mhm.
that's what I would say. I don't know if you have more to add to this, Abib.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add that we can show our like audience like a machine readable format and even readable format of how our API documentation looks like. I mean, if you go to like this website as well, editor.swagger.io,
Sorry.
uh,
Okay.
editor.swagger.io. Yeah, uh, I believe it's IO. Yeah, yeah. Let's go for the first one.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So
so we can give our audience like a glimpse of what our machine readable and
it's
human readable format and API documentation looks like.
yeah, true. Okay. So right here is the machine one, right? And
Exactly, the machine readable format,
human readable one.
and this is the human readable format, correct?
Yeah. And
Guys,
most time we deal with the human readable one, right? Which is the one
format. Yeah,
on this side of the screen, right? So yeah, for those who don't know what API documentation looks like, so this is it, right? Yeah, thank you for bringing this up. So, for example, we have this, right? So, if you should read through, you can see parameters, right? So, the parameter we're talking about,
exactly,
right? So, there's no parameter for this one, right? So we have this is request. You will send this request, and then this is the expected response, right? So basically what we do is, we go through it. Okay, what is this? What is the intention behind this, right? Okay, what is the application supposed to do, right? So this is where you come, you try to understand what the application is supposed to do, and then this is the schema, right? You could go through this as well, right? We have users, right? So for example, let's say for this delete parameter for users now, right? This is somebody deleting his or her account, right? So what could happen if I supply another user's username and I send the request? Is it going to be allowed? Is it going to be disallowed?
exactly,
So yeah. So in this case now, there's no
exactly.
parameter which is username.
Yeah, that there is like a username parameter, and it's mandatory basically. When you see things like the asterisk, like the star, that's an indication that
Required.
a certain parameter is required to for the API to process your request. So
Yeah.
like paying attention to these little details would improve your pen testing experience, as well as make you get a better overview of how things work and operate with the API.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You're right.
To always look out for.
Thank you so much, Abby, for bringing that to my attention. It actually helped to drive the point. So yeah, and usually this documentation can either be hosted publicly, or in some cases for some API, right? For some internal API, this documentation might not be made public. So depending on
Hmm.
the situation, right? Depending on the application in question, right? You could either have access to this documentation or not. And I mean, there have been a number of engagements where um, maybe when we are going black box engagements, right? Where we are going blindly, right? Where
Yeah,
that end up discovering the API ourselves, and then also we end up discovering the documentation um, ourselves, right?
exactly. Yeah, I mean we've had like a couple of those experience, right? I
Yeah,
mean they're pretty fun experiences, And one other thing I'd just like to add before we like proceed to the other section is that there are actually three types of API documentation. And the very first one is the one Emmanuel mentioned, and which is like, the ones that are catered to external developers. For example, having like, financial APIs like, money points. These are like APIs that are catered to like external developers or for the public. So the documentations are always available over the internet. So this is fine. But we also have two other types of API, which is the private and the partner APIs. So these are the two APIs types. Documentations are mostly not, publicly available to the internet on the internet rather. But so like these are things you need to put into consideration when you're testing a client's application. You need to figure out, okay, is their API, is it a public API or is it a private or a partner API? So if you discover the documentation during your reconnaissance stage, and then you later got to know that the API is a private API, for example, then this is a flaw in your configuration. And Emmanuel, you agree with me that we've come across such cases during engagements, right?
yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just one a little thing I just wanted to add to this.
Yeah, thank you so much, Habib. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think
Uh,
it's the breaks here because it's 9 p.m. Nigerian time already. We'll
so shoot,
continue in our next stream, guys. Next Hack Wednesday episode, we'll pick up from where we stop, and hopefully we get to gets our hands dirty by going to the lab from
Ex-
yeah. So thank you so much, guys, for joining tonight. We hope you learned a few things, a thing or two from us. Please feel free to drop your comments. I'm actually paying attention. We're actually paying attention to the comment section, right? So if you have contribution, if you have questions, please feel free, and we'll try to attend to them while on stream. Okay, so thank you so much for your time, guys, and also a big shout out to the management team of Cyberpreneur for giving us your opportunity to do this. This couldn't have been possible without them giving us the go ahead and
yeah,
permission to do this. So we are really really grateful, and please we are from Cyber Pura, and which is a cyber security organization. We are basically an MSSP, and we provide everything cyber security as a service, right? From offensive security to defensive security to governance risks and compliance, both on-prem, cloud, you name it, everything we do it, right? And we are available for any of your security needs. All you need to do is to check our website, send us a mail at hello@cyberplural.com. So till next time, guys, stay safe, and please keep doing great stuff, and please stay out of trouble as well. Till
exactly.
again. So thank you, guys. Abi, please, you could,
Yeah,
yeah, guys.
thank you all. I mean, and thank you to the management as well, just like you mentioned, and of course, thank you as well, Randall. And more importantly, thank you to our audience as well. So we'll see you guys next episode, which is going to be 2 weeks from now. So have a great evening, guys.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Yeah, happy bye bye everybody.
Bye.
Next time.